In your folder, you should have some squares of paper. We're going to use these to start creating our illusion. So the first step is just start with one square. And you want to fold this in half. But instead of in half like this, where you bring one edge to one edge, you want to fold it in half, bringing one corner to the other. I sometimes find it easier to pick up my square, use my two fingers to help bring those corners together, and then I like to slide my fingers down and pinch in the middle, and then work my way along that bottom edge. And then I open it back up. So when you're done, you're going to have two sections that are triangles. You're going to concentrate on one section of triangle. So if it helps, you can fold this piece of paper in half again so that you know you only want to work in one of these sections. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to place my name on this triangle piece. Now, what I need to do to help with my optical illusion is I need my letters as much as possible to come off the fold and to come even up to the edges. So let me demonstrate. I'm just going to use the word name again. Now, if you still are not comfortable creating negative space letters using just the outside outline, you can first write name normally. I'm fairly comfortable with writing with negative space letters, so I am going to go ahead and freeform them. So as you can see, I have part of my N coming off the fold, meaning I don't draw a line down here. I just let this part of the negative space N drop off the fold and this part. And then also up here at the edge of my triangle, I let the letter come to it. I don't draw a line here connecting those two lines. Over here, this part of the letter is not coming off of the page, not coming off of the fold or off of the edge. You are allowed to have some areas like this. I can also turn, I can overlap, because now we're not just worried about spelling our name. We want to fill up our negative space inside of this triangle. So feel free to move your paper around. Not everything has to touch. But again, I do want as much of my design to come off of the edges or off of the fold. Okay, so there is one try. Now I do have some extra space up here. I'm going to leave it like that for now because I need to make this into a mirror reflection. And that is how we're going to create the kaleidoscope design. So what I need is for these letters to transfer over here just like in a mirror image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a piece of paper that has a lot of graphite on it. We're going to refer this as our homemade carbon paper. So you should have a long sheet, or maybe even two, of paper. It's thin paper like copier paper. And I just take this and fold this in half. This is where you're going to use your 5B pencil included in your materials. And you're going to color over this piece of paper with that 5B. Now 5B is a very soft graphite pencil. When pencils are made, graphite is formed into the tubes by mixing graphite material with clay and a little bit of wax. The less clay in the makeup of that mixture means the more graphite, which gives us our softer pencils, which are also darker. Now, to get this piece of paper completely filled, I had to sharpen my pencil a couple of times. I fill it up in one direction first, and when I have that filled up, and most likely I've had to sharpen my pencil at least once already, I come back over and cross over top of it. I want to try to get rid of much of the white paper showing. And then I took, after going both directions, and you can see the directional movements on my paper, I then came in sometimes in areas where I thought it looked too light or I had a little white gap and just scribbled some more pencil in that area. Now this is going to be messy, so be careful resting your hand on it or smearing it, because soft graphite pencil is very dusty. I'm going to use it though because it's going to help me transfer my design. So the 5B pencil is only to make the graphite paper or carbon paper. So now I'm switching back to my regular pencil, and I am going to now trace over, and notice I've opened this up. I'm going to trace over my name, my letters. And I am applying a little bit of force. Notice when it comes to my fold and my edges, I'm not connecting these lines. I'm letting the fold and the edges work as the ending parts to those letters. If I accidentally go off a line, that's okay. I just come back, get right back on track. I don't even have to erase. Now this is what the wonderful carbon paper does, is that it's now made a copy. It's very light, but it's made a copy of my name on the back. And there I just noticed when I flipped it over, I forgot to trace this line. Okay? Now this will make it easier for me to trace. So I want my side with my heavy graphite on it. I want to fold it like a sandwich. I'm sandwiching that graphite in between these two pieces of paper. I'm going to fold this edge over to this one, and I can still see my light lines. And I continue to use my graphite paper, and now I'm going to trace over those light graphite lines that carbon paper left on the back. And again, I am using some heavier pressure. See there, it's a little smudge. Maybe you can't see it too well if I bring it up because I got graphite on the outside of my finger. So that will happen. Okay. So now what I have is my name backwards in heavy graphite. When I open it up, I now have my mirror reflection. So I have what graphite was on here. When I folded this over and traced over the back, that pressure forced any dusty graphite over onto this section. So now I'm going to trace over this side to see my mirror reflection. And this begins my optical illusion. So by having the letters come off the fold or off the edge of the paper, it allows them to merge into shape, so they're no longer just letters. So here are some examples of ones I have done in the past. So again, a block letter, there's my M, my S, my B, A, R, N, E, T, and T, the mirror reflection of it. Here's one using bubble letters. Here's one just using some block-like letters, some very curvy, changing shape of the letters. And here's one using cursive letters. What you're going to do is come up with 4 at the least of these mirror reflection tiles.